This is the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, with Erolai, Kreese, and Mark, bringing you all your Defo news and talk. Welcome to Season 4, the LGBT era. Now let's start the show.
Welcome everyone to episode 135 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. I'm Mark, and special shout out to Ryan is the Bomb 203 on YouTube for another beautiful intro, the Rebel Rose theme. You can check out the full version of Ryan's version. That's I only went to college on a music scholarship. The word that I am looking for completely escaped my mind. Arrangement. You can find Ryan's full arrangement of the Rebel Rose theme from Final Fantasy II on his YouTube. Ryan is the Bomb 203. Thank you, Ryan, for doing all of our intro music and letting us have this beautiful music for Final Fantasy II cycles. I'm not just by myself and talking about Ryan. Not at all. I have two co-hosts with me. First, you know her. She does pull videos too. Her name is Erole. Ero, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I was fighting off a headache before the show, but I managed to get rid of it with a little bit of relaxation beforehand. Yes, I did do a pull video for Firion, and if you guys want to watch it, Mark linked it earlier. I can link it again in the chat in a moment. I also did Dimensions N19 this week. But yeah. Anyway, I want to pass it back over to you, Mark.
Shalaster, thank you very much for 10 gift subs. We appreciate that very much. All of you who have subbed.
Thank you for the gift subs.
We are so appreciative of all of you who support us. You even supported one of our mods.
Because I don't keep the sub up because I'm lazy.
And one of our co-hosts, who is Kreese, and he's talking right there. Kreese, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay. I had physical therapy this week. I got physical therapy again tomorrow. I actually have my cam on for you, Mark, if you want to take a look at what the result of physical therapy was on Monday. Yep. I got a new splint.
Oh, very nice.
It's a jury rig thing, but it's been providing much better support for my hand than the last splint did.
Oh, wow.
I can use a mouse much better, which is definitely a nice plus for working. And I'm getting my first COVID vaccine shot tomorrow, so that's also a nice plus. This week's been busy, but it's been a good type of busy.
Very nice.
I'm also way behind on Dissidia content because that seems to be my perpetual state lately.
Thank you, Dark Demon 22, for the subscription as well. Appreciate everybody showing some love tonight. If you don't remember, if you haven't been here for a couple weeks, Kreese pinched a nerve or hurt a nerve in his hand, and so has got a pretty intense apparatus and a wonderful Baby Yoda shirt. So if you did not, because I haven't had my camera on. I have my Firion shirt tonight, so. But yeah, I'm glad Kreese, you're feeling better. Glad our teachers and our medical personnel can get those COVID shots. So, especially where you are, it's not been great down there. In the
my university just got a load of vaccine doses and basically has opened it up to the entire university. All staff, students can get them.
Very good.
So it's been a definite plus.
Well, speaking of pluses and also costumes and Firion, JD Terraforce, thank you for the subscription. We are in a hype train, so feel free to sub if you want to resub or share a sub, get some free emotes, and we do have a contest So if you, I did go back and update all the links to I had just updated all of our Discord links on Twitter, Facebook, tccpodcast.com, and on Twitch. But I updated them to a link that expired. If you aren't familiar with Discord, you create a link, they expire. So I did update all of our links or all of our social media with links that do not. Thank you, Crease, for gifting that sub as well. So you can join our Discord. That's what I'm trying to get to. If you are a subscriber on Twitch, even if you're gifted a sub, there's a private channel for you on our Discord. But regardless of whether you're subbed or not, we are doing a contest for the GL First, the TCC intern, PoteauCedar, is set up a wonderful contest for us where you can go into our Discord, and there is a channel in our Discord called, what did we call it? GL First Contest. And there you can vote on 3 options, 3 different tries for who you would like to see as the GL First. And if one of your tries is accepted, you can potentially win a prize. I haven't decided what that prize is yet, but it will be a prize. So all of those who get the right choice, who choose the right choice, will be able to do that. Yeah, so sorry, there's a few other things happening as well. So please join the Discord. Choose who you think might be 3 options, and then we'll choose winners depending on who that is and if you get it right. There is a costume for Firion. Arrow, I'm not 100% sure on this costume. Arrow, what do you think about the costume?
I love it. It's amazing. It's one of the ones in Dissidia NT, but it is based on an alternate design Amano did for Firion, like, when the game was still new and, being developed. It is also the sprite design, I think, used in some cop versions of FF2, if I remember right, like in the Game Boy Advance version and the PlayStation 1 version. I don't know for sure on the PSP version. I've never really played that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't have the cape on those versions. It's just without. It's the same outfit roughly, though.
I will post the. I don't have Streambot their TRZ. Thank you, Soraya the Ranger, for that Tier 1 gift sub. And there is the link to our Discord. That is a temporary link, but it will be good here for the next 24 hours. All right. Well, if you do like that, I know a lot of people seem super excited about that costume. I'm not really sure why, but yeah. So if that is something you're interested in, buy it. Support the game. What can I say? Last week, we introduced you to Zonde, Thrall of Darkness, and a new character that we received, Mr. T-Pose himself, Zonde, the Thrall of Darkness. We did not cover, last week, the Lupinia, or, I guess, the Challenge Quest, or the TCC Challenge. So, let's talk a little bit about this. Of course, the Challenge Quest, you were able to bring Zonde, Cloud, Beatrix, and a couple other folks.
Aiko and Zell were the other ones.
Aiko, Zell. So there were a few options. Obviously, Cloud could really help you through the Challenge Quest. Obviously, if you pulled Zonde or Beatrix, they were going to help you. I did see a lot of creative runs with the Challenge Quest on the Zonde, including 0 out of 3 Aiko, 0 out of 3 Zell, just with Cloud. So you could really carry a couple people. Thank you all for the hype train. Appreciate that. I got a little emote there. So appreciate that, and all of you who have supported us. So there was a lot of, definitely, if you have Clouds Burst, you were not having issues with that, and any other combination of the group, you were able to do it pretty easy. But let's talk about the Lupinia, where we had a 2-wave Lupinia. The first wave was the Ochu with the microchews, and again, that's the plant monster that has the 2 adds and buffs them up, and they're kind of annoying. They can inflict venom. They can get more powerful. You kind of have to manage all 3 of them. He can resummon them. They're enemies we fought a lot of different. Yoshi Pasta says, I don't recommend bringing 2 0 out of 3. That may have been Yoshi Pasta's run that I was referencing. I believe there was some conversation of that was in fact Yoshi Pasta's run. Yoshi Pasta is not not recommending it. And they say it is hell, so don't do that. And remember, you can always interestingly enough, in this coming, the Firion cycle, only 1 challenge quest. So if you hate challenge quests, you're gonna break for a couple a week or so, I guess, from challenge quests. So yeah, the microchews and the Ochu we've seen a lot of times. They have a decent amount of HP, but for the most point, it seems like this wave is to help you build up Xande's stacks. So remember, Xande builds up his blue friend stacks, the Circus Tower, and also he has an EX stacking mechanic as well. So this allows you to build up the EX and also the Circus Tower, because you want Circus Tower, the thing above his head, to 5. So that really is what that does. I think that's really the point there. This is not a damaging enemy. The Assault Dogs, which are these kind of mechanized dog-looking monsters, they are double resistant to ice, water, wind, and holy, which does take out a few characters. And they're a little bit of a pain in the butt.
They're evil. It's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Crease is struggling due to no dark damage, because the main thing with this Lupinia is doing dark damage. The orbs appear right from the get-go from 100% of their health down to 80%, and the orbs reappear from 59 to 29, and in between they ramp up and trigger this ability called Fire Dog, and this gives them shields, which is a real pain in the butt. So you don't need dark damage during that. TRZ 1986. So you just go in and you'll see little green boxes under several of the characters, so you can just click the emote, and if there's a character that doesn't have the green checkmark emote, you just select that, and that's your selection. We can read your name there. So just pull down there and you can see all the characters. That's for the GL First contest. Yeah, so the best way to deal with the orb is to do constant dark damage. Now, as CSAM's saying, Snoopball did it with no dark characters. There are ways that you can kind of power through this with double Emotes and everything else, but Eldnarsh can really help there. Double Emotes can do there. Vivi and Lightning can really do a lot of big damage as well, to kind of shut them out. So you have to deal with the orb phases, and you have to deal with the big damage phases from their fire dog attacks and their pretty horrible shields. So you definitely need some way to mitigate the incoming damage. You need some way to deal with the orb or disable their attacks. And you need to be able to shave because of the shields. And so there's kind of 3 things that you're managing. So, I mean, it's very similar to some of the other ones. The big difference is we just don't have a lot of dark damage dealers. Thankfully, we do have 3 votes. You get 3 votes. You can vote for 3 characters. We do have Xande, Dark Enchanter. We have Realm, who has limited ability if you equip Diabolos. We have Vivi, the GL First LD, So he does with his LD and follow-up attack dark damage. We are going to get I think it will be, well, no, it won't. It may not be live. I was going to say Cecil, Dark Knight Cecil, but I'm not sure if he's going to be here. What if this event will be here when Dark Knight Cecil launches, when Boss Rush launches. Who else am I missing? Overlaps one day, Soge says. So yeah, that will be an option as well. You can always bring a friends on day too to give yourself some help. Arrow, how did you approach this, and any kind of thoughts about this?
I decided to use Vivi, Dash, and Beatrix. And honestly, trying to juggle between like the Fire Dog assault mode and then like the normal mode is tricky because you don't get a lot of time to heal up between all those HP attacks. And that's why I think Warrior of Light's been such a popular choice, because you can kind of ignore all those like attacks as long as you can keep the bitter end shield buff up along with the shield, of course. So a lot of people were bringing like Kieran along with that just to buff Warrior of Light's I Brave further along with Diablo summon. So that's one of the better ways, just to kind of ignore the HP attacks, the constant assault. And it doesn't matter if your HP kind of gets low if you bring somebody like VV, because you ain't gonna die to any of the attacks as long as you can keep breaking the shields. Do whatever it takes to break the shields, by the way, because I hate those things. But thankfully, if you hit elemental weakness, I think you do a lot more additional damage in this fight, from what I understand, Mark, because of something with how the bosses work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, were you going to say something, Kreese?
I was just going to agree with you. Yeah, supposedly that while they're in Fire Dog, they take extra damage, brave damage from elemental weaknesses.
Okay, so yeah, as long as you can do that, or just something to mitigate. If you have to deal with Flamethrower plus, if you can't shade the shields, the only way to really do that is to either use 9 with his White Knight protection buff, or you can use the Paladin's protection buff from Beatrix. I don't really think you're going to live it any other way. I think it does a double dump too. I don't remember for sure, but it's nasty. It dispels like all their debuffs on them before they even use it, so you can't get around it with something else like Reno or with Setzer.
Yeah.
They
do take more elemental damage. Increased brave damage taken from elemental weakness during Fire Dog stance. The other point, Zarathustra is saying don't give them a turn. That is again one of the options, the Meditilian or Eldenarsh kind of lockdown option. As well, although I just saw a Belial run on the Call to Arms. Again, DissidiaFFOO.com has the Call to Arms. Our friend Macnell does that. He used Pain and Lightning, and who else? I just missed it here. Let me see if I can find it again. Realm Charlotta Lightning, that was one Belial run. You can imagine there's more than one with Belial. Pain Edward. Yeah, so, somebody like Edward, and then Pain with the... a lot of people brought Edward. If you kill one, I believe the Enrage also gives a huge shield.
They go straight into Fire Dog.
Yeah, that could be really, really bad. I think Mino, when he was running this event on stream, killed one, like they were both at like 1% HP, killed one of them, and then the other one gets like a 95,000 brave shield.
That's another thing.
Killed it, yeah.
They don't delay. You know how sometimes they kind of delay themselves when they would do the big shields like that, HP thresholds? That final one, they don't delay themselves at all. So if the boss is about to go right after that and you don't have a response, that's it. So if you can, try to kill both of them as close together as possible, if not at the exact same time.
And again, Zonde, area of effect, doing damage to both bosses. So trying to highlight that as well. Kreese, I know you were hitting your head on the desk about this. So what insights do you have from that experience?
Being dark damage, nice. It's not enough to necessarily just bring Vivi and hope that's sufficient, because it won't be. Is what I found out. You need a lot more. It seems that shutting them out from being able to act helps a lot, which I was struggling with because I was trying teams that did not bring just shut them up. I was trying to work through their mechanics. I'm still working on it. I will hopefully get it down in a day or two. I have some new ideas, some new insights.
Yeah. Well, good luck to all of you who are still working on that content. We did have a TCC challenge for this event, Thrall of Darkness. We banned Zonde for the regular TCC challenge. No burst phase. Friend burst attacks are okay. Friends are okay. Any summon. The extreme challenge was no Zonde, no Vivi, but you could still use a friend and use their BT. So the only difference between the regular TCC challenge and the TCC Extreme was banning the major 2 dark damage dealers and no burst phase. So that's the other thing. So, you can say, oh, well, why don't you use double Emotes? Why don't you use lightning? Well, a lot of people who have depended on burst phases don't realize what it's like to not use burst phases. It's a pain. So, as you can see, not as easy as you may think. Excalibur, Arrow, Heavy Cura, Ganro, Hallie, Soge King, who's here tonight, who is Tidrix on YouTube and making some more content. Yoshi Pasta, who's here tonight with us. Leviax, Chef Knife, Liz Lizette, and Scott all did the regular challenge, and Belial, Snoopball, CSDX, CSAM, I saw CSDX and CSAM, both did the extreme, all did the extreme. So maybe to highlight those extreme runs. Destroth's got one here, so shout out to Destroth. And I think I got everybody from the other one still. But yeah, so people are still submitting them. Destroth did Rude, Shantoto, Beatrix. Belial did Realm, Kefka, Edward. That's a great run. HP Silence does work really nicely here. Snoopball did Beatrix, Ragin, Kais. CSDX did Beatrix, Leon, Lightning. And CSAM did Edward, Lightning, Pain. And Arrow did her run with Vivi, Desh, and Beatrix, as she said before. So, yeah.
I'm going to point out that Machi Linto also apparently used the same team and posted it before me. So, shout out to Machi Linto for thinking along the same lines as me.
So you're stealing Machi's, Leno's ideas.
No, it was more like he beat me to posting it. I felt so bad about posting the same team, but it was just like, well, sometimes that just happens. You wind up with the same team as somebody else. You guys were just kind of thinking along the same lines for tackling the battle.
Yeah. JD Terraforce, you should try the TCC challenge sometime if you have time. It is a fun time. So definitely. All right.
It is hard.
It is not. It's not easy. It may not even be fun. But it's something you can do if you're bored. It's better than downloading another gacha and spending actual money. Let me put it that way.
That is true.
It's better than doing crack cocaine on the street, I guess. So not much better, but it's not particularly healthy for you doing the TCC challenge or the extreme challenge. But congratulations to all those who do that to themselves. All right, well, let's move on from Zonde Thrall of Darkness to the Mission Dungeon event that we just got last night, which would be the 13th here in the United States, Storming the Citadel. And with Storming the Citadel, we got 2 free multis and 2 banners. Final ASIM says, is it better than playing Japan? Yeah, because you can read in the TCC challenge. So
yeah,
unless you speak fluent Japanese, I would say it's much better than downloading the Japanese version of the game from this point. But in this event, we got Firion's rework, level 80, and LD and BT, and we're all very excited about that. So, Kreese, if you would so wonderfully walk us through how Firion got updated to the current era, please.
This is a pretty sizable rework. So, Firion's base abilities were changed so that they now provide substantial party healing. Both of them do now. Before he would self-heal himself, now that's turned into party healing. And it's a pretty chunky, sizable party heal. Blood Weapon Plus now is up to 35% max HP party heal, and Seize Attack Plus is now up to 45% max HP party heal. If he does enough damage. Both of them have also become much stronger buttons to push. Blood Weapon Plus is now a 2 HP dump. It's also 50% HP splash damage. Seize Attack Plus is now a 2 HP dump, and it has a much stronger battery component to it. So that's basically the power boost that you'd be expecting. The other thing that Firion got was his LD and BT. His LD weapon gives him the ability Vortex at Arms, which is an AoE Brave plus AoE HP attack. That's another big party HP follow-up that's based on HP damage dealt. It also applies a new debuff to all targets called Drain Weapon, which does a counter after every enemy attack, as long as that enemy has that debuff on it, which is basically another Brave plus HP attack that heals the party based on damage dealt and then causes the party to gain Brave. So yeah, he gets a lot of improvements. He also gets improvements to his Brave plus and HP plus, which are pretty nice. Nothing substantially different. They're just nice improvements overall. His burst effect is increases to max Brave, increases to int Brave, boosts Brave regen, and also gives Brave gain based on HP damage dealt. So it's a pretty sizable boost. His burst effect's pretty nice. His LD's pretty nice. His base abilities are pretty nice now. He doesn't have any synergy bias right now while in the mission dungeons. You can actually see how he will function in normal play, which is not what we're used to for most characters. It's kind of interesting to see how he actually plays on even footing with everyone else. Yeah, I had to pity his LD. I've been experimenting with it a little bit the last night or so. It's not super amazing, but he is a very strong offensive support with a lot of healing capabilities. I don't think he's going to be like a game changer by any stretch of the imagination, but he's definitely up there now, is the way I feel. He provides a sizable party battery. Remember that any excess party healing he does is converted into party battery. So that is another bonus for him. Firion does have a nice number of bonuses. I'm sure Arrow has a lot to say though, so I'm going to pass that over to her and let her talk for a bit.
Oh man, I'm so mad at him right now because he made me pity and he didn't even give me his BT. So I had to use my BT tokens to get Firion. I refused to go to 125. I've seen some of our mods go to 125 on the initial banner and still not get the LD before. I think this happened with Noctis for one of our mods. No, I refuse to do that, especially with Global First right in the corner and Guy next month for me. So it was oofies. But the general gist of Furion's rework, Kreese already went over that. I do want to say that Firion is a really interesting character now. He's always been a jack of all trades kind of character since his C60 awakening and long time ago. And they reworked him then, and they kind of turned him into this like second or third choice party member. That's around the time they did that. Well, Firion's changed yet again because this LD is a game changer for him and the way you can play with it. So if you want to, you can build a whole party around Firion, or you can decide, no, Firion, you can be supporting somebody else in the second or third party slots for whatever reason. I think that's great. He's a chameleon. He's maybe not the best at any of the roles he offers, but he has wide coverage in different utilities than Cloud does, who we saw is like a Swiss Army knife with his launch and his paralyze and his delay. Well, Firion is, I provide lots of battery. I can boost regions in your party because of his Eye Brave buff. And he also now boosts the party attack. Hey, great. I know a lot of people are comparing him with like Rude, and that's kind of fair, I guess. But in this case, Firion and Rude are very, very strong together because they're both benefiting from excess heals, and that turns into battery. So that just means you never really are going to see a lot of breaks. And that can be very helpful for a lot of fights. And even if you were to have to eat an HP attack, you're going to immediately follow up with some sort of healing from Firion right afterwards. That's awesome. And let me think. I know another thing I mentioned in my pull video, but I'm going to mention here is that Firion is a character who does not play well with Vivi. I'm not sure where the misconceptions came from, but you want to keep Firion's HP always above 50% or higher so that you can have the plus versions of Firion's skill, so you get the double HP attack hits. Vivi doesn't play well with that. And also on top of that, when you have Firion's burst and you decide to use that, if you want to use his burst effect, your characters need to be at 100% HP to get the benefits from it. Absolutely do not run characters who need to be, I guess they kind of harm themselves. I guess Dessel's a little bit of a unique case in this one. Yeah. But outside of that, I would be very careful running characters who need to be at lower HP values or can't sustain high HP values for one reason or another with Firion. But we have a lot of characters coming up who will benefit very well with Firion. Also, like as in Paladin Cecil, I'm not a big fan of the guy, but I have to admit where, he's good. And he's going to give you a lot more HP. He's going to, heal you and all these other great stuff. So he's just going to work really well with Firion in that regard.
Yeah, I forgot about that max HP thing that on his burst effect.
It's huge. So like I know a lot of people have been on social media talking about it, and I have to dispel the misconceptions. I understand what happened here because a lot of people, this is possibly their first time they could be touching Firion. And it's the first time like in a long time since we've seen Firion be relevant. He wasn't a big splash when he came out with EX Plus. It was an okay EX Plus, but it was definitely nothing flashy at the time. And Cosmos era, a lot of people did not really use him. There were just other options people were far more excited to use at the time. So this is a first time in like a year that Firion has popped up and mattered to people. So as somebody who's ran him for a very long time, I wanted to dispel some of the worst notions and the worst hot takes I've been seeing. And I understand again, like where it came from. This is a protagonist from a game a lot of people haven't really played, or if they did play it, didn't like it all that much.
HaateXIII, our introduction narrator, reminds us that Arden and Firion would probably not be very good together if you
probably not terrible because Arden only dumps his HP a couple of times.
But after Arden's Arden would heal up though after his initial attack. So
he only LBs a couple of times during the fight, and then his HP can be topped off. So Arden works okay.
He does heal. There was some conversation in chat earlier about, is it a counter? Is his debuff a counter? I mean, according to the game, right, it's a debuff. It's a debuff. The what's it called? Drain weapon. Drain weapon is a debuff that his LD places on the enemies for 6 turns. That, as an effect, after the boss acts, it reacts. The nice thing is, compared to some other counters, and it is more like a trap, Nibelung is saying, unlike some of the counter attacks, so Gao and Gladio, some other characters who have counter attacks, they have to be hit or attacked to counter attack. This reacts to any enemy turn. So if they're silenced, if they're asleep, if they're paralyzed, it still goes off as long as their turns aren't deleted. As long as they take an action, even if they don't get to act because of another status effect, the trigger goes off. So it is a really it's a really nice effect. I would, again, like some people are saying in chat, consider it a trap effect. I've really enjoyed using Firion. I know Mino has been chatting in one of our private things today. Is he's not bad. Is he a character that's going to push you through content? I don't know. He's a character that's not going to hurt you.
He has decent auras too, which I didn't mention and people might not be aware of. He has 60% attack, 40% max brave, and 40% int brave. They're not the best. You aren't going to be expecting him to carry your party on those arrows alone, but he's decent. So he's a decent second aura.
He does pair well with Rude, and so if you have Rude and you like using Rude, I don't. Very true. I mean, I have used Rude. I used him a few times during this event throughout the different nodes. They do pair well together. So if you do like it, I think Firion's a little bit more fun to play. He's a little bit more interactive than Rude. But still, he's pretty much press a button, he does something, and it's good. I mean, it's not real hard to play Firion. There's not a lot of the skill ceiling's not super high, and so you just kind of need to make sure you're not overusing his LD, keep that debuff up, and make sure you're pretty much going to only use skills. Although his HP +++ is pretty good too, so if you need to use it, you can use it. His EX is pretty fast charging. So you're just going to be pressing buttons a lot. And so he does really he really does add to a lot of things. Thank you, Nibelung. I'll up my volume here and get a little bit closer to the mic, make sure that you can hear me. So yeah, it's really good. Really good healing, really good party battery, and so if that's the kind of play style you enjoy, I think Firion is, he's a really good character. Again, he's not world breaking in terms of he's not going to carry you through things, but yeah, it will be interesting to see. I think he's a character. I was giving Beatrix a hard time last week, and I still think she got gypped. But I've used Beatrix in the last 3 Lupinias. Beatrix is one of my favorite characters. I'm going to use her for a while, even outside of Synergy. And you can make her work. There are better options. So I think the question is, is he a character that you're interested in? Did you get his poll real quickly? Another issue that they're talking, Strafe and Mino are talking in chat here. There's only one challenge quest in this cycle. So a lot of the 2-week synergy, the reason that you want to pull on the 2-week synergy is they really do make the challenge quests a lot easier. If you bring an up-to-date LD character like the protags or antagonists on a chaos fight, they're going to help dominate and help carry some weaker characters through. There is no challenge quest. You get a burst token by just doing the mission dungeon, which we'll talk about in a second. And Boss Rush does not have a challenge quest either, I believe. So he doesn't add much when it comes to that. So, yeah.
I will mention, and one thing that Mino did mention and we want to emphasize for Firion is that his heals are all based on the HP damage he deals, so you got to be careful if you are dealing with instances where he is not able to deal HP damage. He will not be able to heal, so keep that in mind.
Oh, I wanted to add one more thing about the 2-week synergy for this go around. Just despite the fact that Firion isn't buffed for 2 of the fights, like in the same sense that we're thinking of, for the Lupinia, you're going to have an easier time with this mission dungeon, Lupinia, having Firion, simply because of the debuff works and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And the boss rush, he's known as one of the boss rush gods for early on because of his off-turn damage, paired with somebody else that also counters, like Gao and 8. He can be absolutely monstrous because you have so much free follow-up damage that will not turn down the counter for the amount of turns you have in that party. Just something to think about as well. So he will be very helpful in the events. He is here in this cycle with his BT. So if you do like 2 weeks energies, you still can't go wrong pulling here.
No, and yeah, he definitely makes a big difference in this particular Lupinia. That is for sure. So, and he's a pro tag, so he's going to get another go around. And again, I think he's fairly fun to play.
We'll get LD boards at some point too,
yes.
And that will make a difference.
Yep. So if we go to the podcast polls on our Discord, we do see and thank you to Quetzalma of MateriaBot for that. On 9 servers, on the first banner, which is the Golbez Ferris Firion banner, 4 people willing to pity the BT, 13 people willing to pity the LD, 5 using gems, 59 using tickets, and 45 skipping. No one pitying the BT on the other banner, 8 pitying the LD, so that's 21 pities of the LD, 4 going for burst, 3 use more gems using gems, 51 more using tickets, and 56 skipping on that. So pretty even spread, but definitely on the lower end of the pull scale for Firion or Firion or Firioff or whatever you want to call this guy who is in the game that most of you probably have not played. I did want to mention that, again, we do get refined spheres for this, and so, again, make one of each at least. Among these are Irving's, Ferris, Fujin, Golbez, Firion, and Lena. Firion's sphere and Lena's sphere are slightly... Lena's sphere is okay. Firion's sphere is slightly underwhelming. Irving's sphere is pretty decent if you are a ranged character. Ferris's sphere, I think, is kind of interesting as well. That's the poison sphere. Fujin's sphere is enemy speed down, so that's kind of a nice sphere. Golbez is a small attack up. So I don't know that there's any game-breaking spheres to grind. Any thoughts on that, Arrow?
The best one is going to be Irvine's for sure, because that range buff, if you have an E-slot sphere on a range character, good stuff. It's one of the few E-spheres that buff a stat in a way, yeah. I think. So yeah, that one's definitely unique. Lena's is very good for a C-sphere, especially if you're into Brave strategies.
Yes, Riku is reminding us that Irving's sphere is great on X-Death.
Especially if you're Mark.
No one can ever forget that. But Black Nero, our friend Black Nero on YouTube, does remind us that Ferris's sphere can be used on a character if you need poison for the orb. For Lupinia, there are Lupinia orbs that you need poison or sap that will trigger, and so that is an option to give you a little bit of extra help, or even to use on characters, a couple characters if you need it, especially as a refined sphere. So you might want to pick up a couple of Ferris's as well. So Black Cloud is with us in chat and says, I was thinking about throwing one on Gao to mem through the X-Death Lost Chapter Lupinia. So that would be an interesting, because that is the requirement for that orb. That would be an interesting thing. So
definitely.
Oh, yeah. Nibelung brings up a great point. Nibelung 16, Ferris and Fujin orbs do bypass boss immunities because they are aura debuffs. Very good. So you may want to make a couple of them. A lot of characters don't have a lot of, E-slots. But hey, if you just want to throw something on somebody, those are very good choices as well. And if you don't like those, well, in their range characters, go with Irving's. It's one of the best ones.
Now, the event is a mission dungeon. So you actually have, under the events tab, you actually have 2 maps, a normal map and a hard map. So 2 different maps. You actually have to do normal. Again, it's been a while since we've had to do normal. Finally,
there's also a co-op.
There is also
Although
a co-op.
The Cosmos
so
co-op does not open until after you do the Cosmos in the mission.
There are 3 tabs. There's a co-op tab. There's normal tab. There's a hard tab. The co-op tab starts with level 70, but then once you get to the Cosmos in hard, you unlock the Cosmos co-op as well. These act kind of like Abyss, where you need to bring certain crystal characters to meet different conditions. So it starts with just one crystal character, and then it goes you need 2 colors, and then it goes you need 3 specific colors, all the way up to chaos difficulty in the hard mode. So it's not the most difficult thing, especially if you've been playing a while. You should have, at least one of each color, and that's really all you need. You need one good character from each color. There might be ones where you need 2 of the same color. I don't recall that. Yeah, there might be one where you need 2 of the same color.
There are
as
some where
well.
you need 2 of the
I'm
same
not sure
color
that those
in
are
the
chaos, though.
I don't remember. I don't think I've gotten that far yet.
I'd have to go back and look and see what all the nodes were. There, chaos is chaos and cosmos is cosmos. Yeah, Final Asim is saying they're not. I'll open my game and double check as well, as I did clear all these nodes last night and early this morning. You do have to fight the ardent something or others, the floaty guys. What are they? What are they called? You know what they are.
Argent Officiants?
Ardent
Is that what you're talking
Officiants. Yes, they are the floaty night-looking things from the Agrius event, which we'll probably see again in the future. But you have to fight them a lot once you get to hard mode in a whole bunch of different things with a whole bunch of different characters. So the first set in hard mode is the 2 colors. So, so you'll see that. Efficient, Ardent Efficient, or Officiant.
Yep, Argent Officiant.
There you go. That's a thing that you could know, I guess. But so yeah, it starts out with use 2 red crystal characters. That's level 100. 2 of each color. So you will need at least 2 of each colored character to be at a level 100. So that's not super tough. If you have one decent LD character with a crystal color, you should have no problem with that. Then you get to the one of each crystal character. So for the Cosmoses, it's blue, green, and white, and red, yellow, and black. So you need, again, 6 characters. And then for the Chaoses, it's the same blue, yellow, white for one, and red, green, black for the other. And then there's a regular Cosmos, which is a 5-wave Cosmos. And then there is a 2-wave Chaos, where the first wave is the Greatest Malboros, which I always think are a little bit less deadly than the regular Malboros in this game. And then the Ardent Officiant is the second wave. And then Lupinia is just the Ardent Officiant. Again, as we just said, there's no challenge quest. You do get the burst token for just beating those missions to perfect. So, and you get a whole bunch of other rewards. There's tons of gems, lots of nuggets and book pages and all that kind of stuff. So, Pennywise relatives. Yeah, they are related to Pennywise, the dancing clown, from Stephen King's It, if you are not a literary expert. So these assholes, these idiots, they're a pain in the butt.
Yeah, they always are every time they come back.
So their big mechanic, if you're not familiar with them, is they have 2 stances. They have their regular stance and they have their floating stance, where they fly into the air. They gain a ton of brave. In one of the stances, they gain several buffs, frame buffs, a full set of frame buffs, and they get very hard to do damage to, in terms of, their brave damage reduction is just very, very high. And then they do a very powerful attack and potentially kill you. That's just the regular ones that you're going to have to deal with regardless of what you're fighting. In Lupinia, they do get a Lupinia orb that triggers once their HP falls below 80, and then once they use Gobulated Crush, disappears, and then it triggers against once they go below 50. As I read it, and correct me if I'm wrong because I was using Firion, basically if you have somebody who heals, that ticks up the orb. Is that correct? Is that how it works?
The orb increases based on how many party members are healed when a healing skill is used.
Yeah, so it's not regen. It does seem to work when his debuff triggers. So, or maybe I just saw that wrong. But so if you're using a skill that heals, the orb will go off. The problem with this orb is it starts at 8. It starts at an 8 count. So it doesn't give you a lot of room to mess around. So you do need healers to deal. Bosch is excellent in this. I think people have been using Bosch several different times throughout this as well. Or are we talking? I'm thinking of tier 19. I don't know if anybody. Yeah, there are several people who use Bosch on this. I'm looking at the call to arms. Yeah, so you definitely need somebody who heals. And you don't necessarily need someone. I did bring Beatrix. I used Firion, Beatrix, and Rude. You don't really need the dispels. You just need a way to tank the damage. So, Bosch obviously can tank it. Beatrix can tank it. Edward can help ignore it. Arciella can HP silence. They're not really immune to anything, I don't think, right? Yeah, they're not immune to anything, so you can pretty much use, you can push off their buffs. Warrior of Light is a good option. People are using Gladiolus, of course, Scow. A lot of people are using Rude and Firion, obviously, because there's constant heals. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of, Cloud with his, well, Squall is here too, but Cloud with his Paralyze works. But yeah, this seems to be a pretty open, whatchamacallit, Lupinia. So, Arrow. So yeah, I brought Beatrix, Firion, and Rude, and they were bleeding brave to high heavens. The only issue was, just making sure you time Beatrix's Holy Knight Safeguard appropriately so that you don't take that big hit, because they can't shave worth crap. You can bring Brave, Instant Break, Gravity, to because they go up to like 95,000 Brave, and it's hard to shave them. So you can do Instant Break to deal with that as well. So, Arrow, have you approached this, and who did you bring?
I did already beat it in my practice run, and I used Firion, and the Rim 9 duo has returned. That stuff, I can't believe it still works. But basically, 9 is one of your party healer options because of his skill 2 and his EX. You can walk off the really bad attacks at the 50% mark 2 times if you just make sure the enemies don't go back to back, obviously. So that worked out really well. And Rim, I'm going to point out a couple little things with her. Even though, yes, Kier does technically heal the whole party if she uses it on herself, it seems to not count using the C50s. So I guess the overheal C50s, I think only like her and I know Sid has it. I don't know if I can't remember anyone else offhand. Doesn't seem to count as more than 1. And also, I'm not certain, but I was pretty sure when she used Siphon Delta, her EX, it wasn't counting it as 3 party members being healed. It was counting as just 1 for some reason, which is really annoying. So I don't know why I did that, but she was still pretty good because you could just swap over anyway to party healers if the counter was getting a little low to Firion or 9 and just heal, and then you'd bring the counter back up again. Other than that, the main thing is just that middle point when they remove all their debuffs and then they add all those buffs. If you don't have a lot of debuffers, you gotta figure out pretty quick what you're gonna do there, because that part's tricky because they get that big defense buff too. That's so awful. Other than that, I feel like if you've dealt with the Agrius boss before and you kind of know how it works, you should be okay here. Oh yeah, did we mention that the Globated Crush is actually like a party attack now? Because I hated that a lot.
I forgot to mention that. I don't think Mark did either.
Yeah, I absolutely hated that.
It is, yes.
So and it
targets everybody.
Yes, and I think it does it does split damage, I think. And then they still also have an attack on the ground that also is
it deals total HP damage to every target.
Total HP.
Yep.
Okay. So usually you want to hope it doesn't do too much, but then there's that one when they're on the ground and they also do a party HP attack. I hate both of them, man. It's awful. But thankfully, between Firion's attack down from Drain Weapon, because we forgot to mention that too, and then also having Bahamut summon with another minus 15%, and then 9 shields. I wasn't having to worry about the ground attack too much, but that air attack, man, that thing was driving me nuts. It would put me on edge so bad because your characters, it's like it's doing like half their health. Oh man, I don't know. That just certain things like that just put me on edge at times. But I do plan to record soon, probably tomorrow morning, and so that video should be up tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night.
Yeah, and it does look like bringing Bosch, if you have Bosch's LD fully kitted, with a couple of healers, Firion and Rude, for example. Definitely, hey, Richard, grab me your dad. Thank you. Have a good night. But yeah, so it seems like that's a pretty solid strategy. So good luck. I think there's Final ASIM. Yeah, I think I saw some Gao already on the Call to Arms Gao Bosch runs as well. I did see a couple Gao runs. Gao Beatrix Gladio. There's a Gao Beatrix Gladio. I thought I saw a Gao Bosch Rude run already. So so Gao Kamari Edward, Gao Firion Gladio. So Gao definitely with his healing making some waves. So figure out some different combos there. But yeah, it seems like definitely a pretty open Lupinia. So Soge is saying that Kefka's amazing here because they won't do any HP attacks, right? HP silence works very well. So and they're not resistant to anything. So I mean, there's just a lot of options. As annoying as these bosses are, there's just a lot of options. So I think if you've been pulling and you have a pretty good team, I think you're not going to have much of a problem with this Lupinia. And maybe even if you're, not tackling a lot of Lupinias, this may be one that, is worth giving it a try if you have a few good characters built up, because I feel like there's a little bit more freedom in this fight than other fights. For the Cosmos co-op, bring Firion and spam as LD. And hope you don't die because someone is deciding not to spam his LD or doing something else stupid. Because I've seen people die in Cosmos co-op multiple times, so do be aware of that. But yeah, you have to. Lazy is 6 is saying you have to bring someone who heals. So who heals the party. So yeah, Ferris for co-op is actually really, really good. Ferris and Lena. But Ferris is actually good if you want to run a Ferris while most other people are running Firions. And the issue with Firions in the Cosmos co-op is not everyone's Firion is built. And so a 0 out of 3 Firion without his boards, without any gear, or a BT only Firion, for example, not that I've run into a lot of those, don't nearly act as well as the LD Firion, just put it that way. So but yeah, good luck. If you're looking for help with that, you can always jump on the Discord and we'll be happy to help you out. Now, we did get another event yesterday, and that is Dimensions End Entropy Tier 19. Remind you that there are only 10 or 20 tiers of Dimensions End Entropy. So this is our second to last tier. Good luck. I know some people have not really started or are kind of slow. There are going to be some special rewards next month for Dimensions End Entropy Tier 20. So this is the time to start working through Dimensions End. because you'll want to collect as many of those rewards as possible. You don't need to kill yourself to try to get them all, but you'll want to do as many as you can. So start working on that. We have people on our Discord who love helping people. You can go to OO Tracker. Anthony, who's on our team, does the OO Tracker, on our Discord, does the OO Tracker upkeeps that you can fill in your roster. Bring that onto our Discord on the events help strategy section. And people love helping people through Dimensions and Entropy. If you're a veteran or you've been playing for any amount of time, this particular tier was probably not real difficult for you. Dimensions and Entropy tier 19. If you want more assistance than what we're going to give you today, you can go to TonberryTroupe.com and check out their guide. You can also check out Black Nero's Entropy walkthrough. So Black Cloud always does a good walkthrough video for every tier of Dimensions End. So, no general resistances, which is super nice. There's a couple elemental resist absorbs. We'll talk about them as they come. Pretty much enemies have regular, predictable area of effect HP attacks. If you have decent dispels, you don't need dispels, but they definitely help. Damage mitigation and damage dealing healing, you should be fine. This is a 4-wave entropy. The first wave is Heritage Golems. They grant themselves frame buffs that I think is just an attack buff. They can delay you, which can be a pain depending on your strategy. And they have a recast ability, which is an area of effect, Brave plus HP attack, which gets stronger the longer they are around. It does help if you can dispel their buffs. Obviously, Cloud is a great thing with his World of Illusion. Beatrix is a dispeller as well. It is not necessary. Wave 2 is just like a trash wave, but they have pretty significant health. So this is not a wave to just, forget. They are 2 Gigantoads and a Weird. So the one is fire and ice fire weak, ice resistant. The toads are ice weak, water absorb. The middle, the Weird, can swap Brave with you, so be prepared for that because it can take your Brave and do a lot of damage. So if you're bringing Firion, watch out because you might not like when that takes it. The Gigantoads can inflict poison and Frog. Frog is a 1-turn debuff that allows you to do 1 Brave damage for 1 turn. You cannot Euphy it on the next wave, FYI, and because the next one is immune to Toad. So again, they're not particularly difficult, but they do have a lot of health, so be careful. The third is the Bastion Giant, which was from Sync's event. Is that correct?
Yes.
Big castle looking guy. Bastion Giant is immune to the frog debuff. So yeah. It also can inflict generic status down debuffs and buffs itself. It turns red for 1 turn and increases all of its stats. But if you have damage reduction, stun, disable, you can prevent that or just prevent it from getting a turn. You won't have any problem with that. You can also, even though he's a big kind of statue-looking thing, you can launch him and enter a launch chain, which I thought was helpful. The final wave is the Might Eater with 2 small Might Eaters. They lower your max HP as soon as they get an action. They buff themselves. They have a lot of HP attacks. They also unleash Energy Absorb, which is a Brave gain, absorbs all your Brave, which is, again, if you're bringing the Brave batteries like Rude and Firion, problematic, and does a big AoE HP attack. You can probably just handle this with damage mitigation, or you can save your burst and your summon until that is probably the best idea. If you're bringing a BT and you have your summon, save it for that 3rd wave and go through. I brought Cloud with his burst, Firion, and Beatrix, and they trashed it pretty bad because I was saving everybody else for tier 20 who, I've got 40 people I'm saving for tier 20 for some reason. Tier 20 is notoriously slightly more difficult than these last few tiers. So not undoable, nothing to be afraid of, but a little bit more tricky. So yeah, Cloud, Firion, and Beatrix were able to disable them and destroy them fairly easily. Tier 20 is Lupinia without an orb. Final Asim says, yeah, I've heard that as well. Baby Lupinia, I think BC referred to it as. So, Arrow, have you taken advantage of Dimensions and Entropy Tier 19, and who did you bring?
I totally did. I used Machina, Beatrix, and Kieran. Honestly, this has to be one of the most forgettable tiers in some time. I think like it's weird. Like they say, yeah, this tier is supposed to focus on dispels, but yeah, you really don't need that. And there are a lot of HP attacks, but it's very easy at the same time not to like give them enough turns to even get around to using the HP attack on their rotation. So yeah. So shame that though, because it felt like some of the other tiers before this, you know, they at least had a little more effort. It felt like put into them. I know we've been power creeping chaos for some time, but it just felt like they had a little more going on mechanically speaking. It's just like they didn't bother here because they were already still developing tier 20 at the time of tier 19's release. That's pretty much all I got to say about it.
It's like it's the break. It's the camp before you get to the final boss. So, this is just a nice one. Kreese, have you had a chance to do this yet?
No.
I know you're a little bit.
I'll get to it in the next couple days. I am way behind. Sorry.
Tonberry Troupe suggests characters like Cloud, Firion, Warrior of Light, and Bosch for damage mitigation, Ragin and Rude for healing, Zonde and Gao for damage. Gao has several different things there. Reno and Beatrix for disabling. So let us know who you used. And I don't think probably the most difficult, but you can always check out. And if you go to the Tonberry Troupe website and also to Black Nero's video on YouTube, there are some example teams that you can check out for yourself. Good luck to all of you. Get that diamond, platinum, whatever plate. We'll talk a lot about Tier 20 Evil Kong. I can tell you that the two major strategies that I saw were Lightning or Warrior of Light. So there were a lot of Lightning clears in terms of Lightning going. Lightning kind of doing what she does, burning through content, or using a more defensive strategy with Warrior of Light. I think I'm going to try to use Warrior of Light and Kieran. I've been enjoying that combo a lot, so I don't know who I'll use as a third potentially, but I want to try using them and with somebody else, but maybe even Lightning. I don't know. All right, or Kuja. Have fun. Kreese, are there any questions for today? Of course, you can always ask us questions on our Discord under host discussion, podcast questions, I believe, under our podcast tab. Yes.
Just a second. I was looking through and trying to decide which one to go with first. Oh, I guess we got to answer this one.
Okay.
Our friend Teleute asked, and this is back from Christmas, so it's been sitting in there for a little while. Now that Una BT is confirmed, who shall get the antagonist BT, and why is it Seymour? So for context, for those who do not know, there are now two protagonist BTs for Final Fantasy X. Tidus and Una both have confirmed BT weapons in Japan, which means that the battle of which antagonist of Final Fantasy X will be getting the BT weapon. And it has been a battle between Jecht and Seymour, with there being a Seymour camp and a Jecht camp. Apparently Teleute is in the Seymour camp. I'll let Arrow and Mark take this question and duke it out.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
I'm gonna throw another option out there, just as a potential. So Tidus is the protagonist representative for Final Fantasy X. Una is the protagonist representative for Final Fantasy X-2. So we could get Shuyin Or we could get what's her name? Why can't I remember? What's her
Britney
name?
Spears.
What?
I don't know her name, but we can call her Britney Spears.
Yeah,
That's who she looks like.
LeBlanc. Yeah, LeBlanc. The other the frenemy in the beginning. There's several enemies. Shuyin is the final boss, but LeBlanc would be the other option. She's the Seymour of Final Fantasy. She's not, but she's the Seymour of Final Fantasy X too. Yeah, there's yeah. When Yu Yevon playable character. Or Sin playable character. There's a lot of bosses in Final Fantasy X lore. I think that's what we need to have. Katy Perry. So, Arrow, what do you think?
I always thought it was going to be Jack to get the BT for FF10, purely because they seem to be using Dissidia reps
he's on the poster.
The bases, but Camelot got screwed over, so I'm not even sure anymore. But I know. Camelot didn't get it. That was weird to me. But who knows? They might still give it to him anyway. I have no idea anymore because they seem to have hinted that they want to give both Seymour and Jet the BT. I don't know if they're gonna go with that. They got something else planned in mind. But honestly, I think it should be Jack. He's kind of seen as like Spiritus's like chosen champion, I guess, for Final Fantasy X's side of things. And this is why I argue that, other characters deserved it. I guess it kind of makes sense if you think about it in the terms of context of the story, why El Nocherino would have wound up with the BT instead of Camelot. Because Camelot ran off like somewhere and just didn't really... and hung out with the good guys instead. And then like El Nacho, he was like still staying with the other side with Spiritus. So he kind of became more of like Spiritus's like loyal servant for FF11's representative. I guess that's the way they probably figured it out too. So I don't know. Jekt has kind of the same thing with Cam though. You could argue, he's been hanging out with the party most of the time. But Seymour, on the other hand, kind of did turn against his boss that summoned him at the end of one of the story chapters. So that's why I'm still going to argue that it will be Jekt who will get a BT before Seymour.
All right. Well, there you go. You heard it here first. Next question.
I'm back now.
Great.
CSTX asks, with all the various resources needed to max out a character now, what do you typically find yourself shortest on? And do you find it worth it to use the daily hunt tokens to shore up on that resource? So the only thing I've been short on lately is that I've been noticing my gem stash dwindling because I've had to pity the last 3 out of 5 LDs I've gone for. So yeah, gems are dropping. So I'm actually okay on Power Stones, I'm okay on Armor Tokens, I'm okay on Bloomstones. I have like 50 Bloomstones. Crystals I'm fine on, Ingots I'm fine on. Daily Hunt Tokens, I've shifted to putting them towards EX tokens lately, just because I figured I'll be ready in case I hit an instance where I get the LD super early and I want to save resources and just token the EX. So that's where I am. I've shifted to using my daily hunt tokens at this point towards EX tokens. Arrow, what are you doing right now?
Gems are dropping always, but you can't really do much about that unless you want to bring out the good old friend credit card, or complaining content, of course. But credit card's a good quick way to get some more gems. Then I'm good on Power Stones. I've been like over 100 for so long. I don't even worry anymore about Power Stones. I can't think of a resource I'm really low on. I have tons of armor tokens. I'm good on orbs. Anything I do wind up low on, I can always find a way to get more of. Because when you're a veteran playing this long, you've almost got. I think we are almost at the point where we have earned enough bloom tokens and the bloom fragments to almost bloom every character. And that's not a piece of item or an item that you're ever going to have a shortage of really eventually.
Yeah,
You know,
I think just looking at blooms here, hold on. Where's this tab here? I just noticed this the other day. So I have 90 characters bloomed, and I think I have 30. So that's 120, and I don't buy any extra anywhere. So let me see where they are. I have 32. So I have over 120 potential characters you can bloom out of 141. So yeah, you can almost bloom every character. Not every character, but almost every character.
Yeah, we're getting really close. I think we don't have too much longer before every character and will be able to be bloomed, and you will always be able to get more blooms from different kinds of events. So going forward, blooms aren't going to be an issue for older veteran players who've been playing since blooms came out. Keep that in mind. This could be a wildly different answer based on your luck and how long you've been playing and things like that. So let me think some other things. Armor tokens. Yeah, I only use them when I'm going to play and purple a character. I was always a little stingy with armor tokens. So I sit over like 2,200 right now, and ingots are good. In fact, I picked characters today to ingot because I looked at the amount of books and ingots I had, and I had enough to do 9 characters. So I just randomly picked 3 I wanted to have purple, but didn't either get the EXs when they initially came out, or it's just somebody I really should have purpled but didn't. So I chose Steiner, Aiko, and 7 for the 3 choices. And I did that because I'm going to have fun playing them probably in random co-ops or whatever, use them for challenge quests. They all come back for random stuff. So I went with that. And then armor books and armor ingots are getting really common too. I don't even want to talk about that number because that's getting a little outrageous. And I'm running out of stuff to book at this point for EX plusing armor. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I'm just going to hoard. And after that, it's just you get to a point where you don't think about it as hard anymore.
Yeah, books are definitely a problem in that we have too many books at this point. Trying to see how many books
I think I have like 30. I have a lot of books.
Let me go to the refined sphere here. Yeah, so I've not used gems since November, so my gems are fine, thankfully. I'm primarily using tickets, but I think the EX tokens are not a bad idea. I get the premium Moogle pass, so I don't need EX tokens. But if I was a free-to-play player or only getting the regular Moogle pass, I might consider EX tokens at least to have 10 on hand, and then not use them if I need them, and then build back up to 10. But yeah, books. I mean, I have even the weapon books. I have 10 weapon books and 14 ingots. That being said, I have not sold any of my fully realized EXs, and I have 9 bursts. So I have 9 purple weapons that I have not sold. So that's, all kinds of nuggets, right? That's 9 ingots already on top of that. So I think, and I've not bought any ingots or books. I don't even remember the last time I bought ingots or books. It's been a long time. So, and I notoriously purple tons of characters. So I have tons of characters purpled. I'm not wantingly purpling everybody these days, but there's less. I mean, now if I wanted to purple everybody, I wouldn't have resources for that. I should sell those, but I haven't. I don't need to. I will when I do. I am short on Power Stones, but again, I haven't sold any of my LDs, so I have over 120 Power Stones sitting there, and I have I have probably 50 EXs that are sitting there too, just to dupe and use books for. If I get 4 of them, then I combine them and use a book and sell them. Because that's a way to get more ingots and also use those dumb books, because we're always going to have more books than we can use, and that's just a problem. And the armor books are just ridiculous at this point. Yeah, and you definitely don't want to waste armor tokens if you don't need to. So I use all my tickets on all my Cactar tokens on tickets because I use tickets a lot on everything. Always, every banner I've used tickets on. Good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Squeegee wants to know the origins of the 13 ticket challenge, Mark. You want to go through that?
We said, let's do a 13 ticket challenge, and then we did it, I guess. I have no idea.
Don't remember the exact nuances?
I'd have to look back and see if I can find the origins of the 13 ticket challenge. But yeah, it kind of started as a joke, on stream, I think, in terms of, let's just do the 13 ticket challenge. And then it became, and from early on, I mean, this is back definitely when Pierre was with us. So
I kind of remember it a little better, if you want me to explain it.
Well, obviously, because I don't remember anything, so.
Okay. So it wasn't actually specifically a 13 ticket challenge. What it was actually was that we were supposed to do a ticket challenge for every banner based on the number of active members, I think, on the Discord at the time that you polled. And what happened is that at the time, it happened to be 13 members, I think, at the first time we did it. So it kind of solidified into being a 13 ticket challenge after the first couple times it was done. It wasn't intentionally a 13 ticket challenge, it just happened to be that way. And what was originally designed to be, it was supposed to be that you pull a ticket for each person that was active and you'd associate a ticket with each name. Am I still here?
No, it looks like the stream dropped, but we should be back connected, and we're still recording, so keep going.
Okay, just want to make sure because the stream dropped for me and I want to make sure we're still going. Anyways, the basic idea is that over time, it just solidified into being a 13 ticket challenge instead of just a draw for everyone who's online challenge, because it would have evolved very quickly into just being, well, it's now a 50 ticket challenge or something wild like that. And right now on the Discord, it's actually a closer to like a 200 ticket challenge if you were to pull for everyone who's online right now. So yeah, that's how it evolved. It just kind of started as like a joke to pull for everyone who was online at the time you pulled. It's just a way to motivate people to use their tickets, and it just changed. It grew from there.
Yeah, so for those of you who are live who missed because our stream has dropped a couple times, basically it just started off of there was only a few different people on our Discord, so you just pulled for whoever was online, but it got back to the point where, we had more people than you could pull for. I mean, we have almost 700 people in our Discord, so it got a little unruly. So so it turned into 13 tickets. The first 13 tickets, and I remember we used to post for like every person, like, Crease, I got a gold orb, Arrow, I got a blue orb, that kind of stuff. So at this point, the 13 ticket challenge is probably a little bit more on the gone the way of the dodo. So it goes.
Didn't we do some math on the 13 ticket challenge back in like the EX Plus era? And like I can't remember the exact math. I think somebody did it though. And there's actually, it's a lot better chances to get some sort of gold than you think in those 13 tickets. So it's just, I think there was some fun around that, but I can't remember the exact math.
I don't remember.
I swear somebody did it. And it was actually surprisingly, I think it was like in the 20s to 30% mark that you would get one gold at least. Yeah. I don't remember that for sure, but it was a lot better than you think.
Inkwelder of the Tonberry Troupe loves the 13 ticket challenge, big proponent of it. So you can always talk to him about it. So, yeah. Jin Lee says, I'm the very, hey, Hepshot. I am the very first 13 ticket challenge success story. So I guess I don't have any proof to argue with Jin Lee.
I think all of us at least won one 13 ticket challenge. It feels like that, we're constant participants. I remember getting 2 paying EXs and 13 tickets one time. And that was one of the wildest pull things that ever happened to me.
All right. Well, I'm not really sure what's happened on the stream or what was happening there going off and on. So maybe we should call it for tonight. Refresh if you can. But let's just do one more question, Kreese.
Okay. Next question. How many GL first LDs do you expect for the year 2021? This is from SS Vegito. I don't think we're going to get that many. I suspect we'll get one for the third anniversary. We'll probably get another one partway through the year, and that's probably it. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll get a third, but I don't think we'll get too many more than that.
Arrow, any thoughts there?
Yeah, I'm with Kreese. I can't see them doing more than about 2 or 3 a year, because I imagine there's a lot of like consideration for who they bring over, and then you have to time when these releases are, and the specialness kind of wears off if you do it too much. But there's a lot of excitement and hype if you only do it a few times, and if you know it's only coming a few times, people get very excited. They'll save for it. They'll buy gems like right away. So there's always a lot of excitement around it, and I'm very excited to for whoever they might announce, even if it's a character I hate. I just won't pull on them if I hate them, but I'll be very excited for anyone who, that's one of their favorite Final Fantasy characters. I'm sure they're going to pick somebody that a wide majority of people would be very happy with.
And that is a good segue to close out our time. Remember to go on to our Discord. Join our Discord. There's a great group of people that hang out, much more than 13 these days. And there is a GL, PoteauCedar, our TCC intern, has set up a GL first contest. You can select with the checkmark emoji 3 different options, and all the people who have selected the right option for who the GL first will be entered into a contest, and we'll give away something. I don't know what it will be. But I would say maybe 1 or 2. Definitely one we know, but we might see another one throughout the time. So thank you all. Well, this has been episode 135 of the Crystal Chronicles, recorded on January 14, 2021 with Mark, Arrow, and Kreese. Thank you all who have Shalaster, especially with the gift subs, Kreese and Ranger. Appreciate all those also who subscribed as well during here. So thank you all. Thank you all for your support, for joining us every week. Check out all the links to our friends, all those links we've talked about. Obviously, Tonberry Troupe and Black Nero and DissidiaFFOO, Materia Bot. Jin Lee is here tonight, but so many others. Mino has a wonderful evaluation on Firion that was taken down. So you can check out Mino's evaluations and all of our other streams and our other YouTube content and all that kind of stuff. So thank you all for joining us. We will see you next week with some more content and X Death. Until then, good luck on all your pearls. We'll see you then.